The juice is loose. What is up, guys and Tim Burton fans? Welcome back to my channel. This is OCD Movie Reviews. My name is On the Prinker, and today I'm going to review the latest legacy sequel that we've all pumped for and been waiting for, and that film is Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. This film is once again directed by Tim Burton, and this movie stars Michael Keaton, Winona Ryder, Catherine O'Hara, with some new people from Jenna Ortega, Justin Theroux, Monica Bellucci, and Willem Dafoe. After a family tragedy, 3 generations of the Diaz family returns home to Winter River. Still haunted by Beetlejuice, Lydia's life is turned upside down when her teenage daughter Astrid, played by Jenna Ortega, accidentally opens the portal to the afterlife. Now, of course, Tim Burton. Let's talk about Tim Burton. He used to be one of the most unique and weirdest directors out there, and he makes so many iconic films for me. Of course, the first Beetlejuice is obviously one of his best films, and probably one of the films that actually puts Tim Burton on the map as one of the most unique directors out there. Obviously, Pee-wee's Big Adventure is his first movie, but Beetlejuice is probably the movie that puts him on the map for being an icon of a director. And he makes great movies, from the first Batman, Batman Returns, and to me, my favorite Tim Burton movie, Edward Scissorhands, which is in my top 30 favorite movies of all time. But after that, honestly, Tim Burton is starting to go through a rough patch of making movies. He hasn't made, to me, a great movie since those movies. But of course, when we all heard that Beetlejuice is going to have a sequel that is once again directed by Tim Burton, of course, we were all excited for it because the first Beetlejuice is iconic. It's obviously one of the most iconic performances by Michael Keaton with Batman and Birdman, and it's one of the most funniest and unique and original horror films that I have ever seen. I love the first Beetlejuice. It's just such a fun movie with so many iconic moments, so many great people that are involved in the movie. The acting is great. The whole movie itself is just a really fun concept, and the movie just looks like everyone's having a lot of fun making it. It's a fun movie to watch on Halloween. So of course, I was excited for Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, especially when we heard that Tim Burton is trying to go basically back to his prime, where he does practical effects, stop motion animation, with some miniatures that he used to do for his films like Beetlejuice and Edward Scissorhands. And of course, Michael Keaton returning and reprising his role as Beetlejuice, with Winona Ryder coming back and Catherine O'Hara, and also some new cast involving Jenna Ortega. It's great casting in general. So the trailers of the film actually really got my expectations high, because I'm a fan of the first Beetlejuice. The movie looks like it's going back to the roots of the original Tim Burton. And you know, when it comes to legacy sequels coming out, it's getting better and better. I feel like legacy sequels is like a new trend now. A lot of people go do legacy sequels for other movies. And so far, when it comes to legacy sequels, so far right now in this decade, there are some great ones. So, of course, I was excited for Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Now, here's the thing. Did I like Beetlejuice Beetlejuice? Yes, I had a fun time with Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. But do I think it's great though? Absolutely not. This movie does have a lot of issues. But I still like the movie. I think Beetlejuice Beetlejuice is definitely a fun time at the movies. I think you should definitely watch it, especially if you're huge Beetlejuice fans. You will definitely enjoy this movie. But of course, it's not as good as the first one, and this movie is not meant to be as good as the first one. This movie is definitely much more mature than the first one was, but I gotta say, guys, the characters in the movie, for the most part, I really did like. Let's talk about, of course, the original characters, especially the return of Michael Keaton as Beetlejuice. 30 years later, and he has still got it. He is still the Beetlejuice that we all know and love from the original film. And Michael Keaton looks like he just never left this character. He is so good in the film. He's hilarious in the film. He is basically back to his prime. Basically back to the character that we used to love him from 30 years ago. Of course, like in the first one, he's not in the movie all that much, but when he's on screen, he stands out, and Michael Keaton absolutely crushes it once again as Beetlejuice. But of course, the main character of this film is actually Winona Ryder as Lydia Diggs, reprising her role also years later, and she's also still got it. I love Winona Ryder. I think she's a great actress, especially in Tim Burton lore. I think her as Lydia Diggs in this movie is fantastic. I like her arc in this film. Her arc is definitely much different than it was in the first movie, but she still feels like the grown-up version of the 17-year-old we know and love from the first movie. It's like none of these cast members has ever left from the first Beetlejuice. They still play the characters that we all know and love, and of course Winona Ryder as Lydia Deeds. I love her arc in this film. She's technically the main character of this film, and she absolutely delivers as the lead in the film. But I gotta say, to me, the standout of this film is actually Catherine O'Hara. Man, she is so hilarious in this film. There are so many moments where Catherine O'Hara speaks in the film. I was speechless of how funny it is. She is so hilarious in the film. Like, that's the bit I was worried about the most, because Catherine O'Hara is so energetic in the first Beetlejuice movie. Nah, she has never left this character. She is so hilarious in the film. She's so iconic in the film. She has a great chemistry with Winona Ryder and Jenna Ortega in the film. She is definitely one of the funniest aspects of the film, and I really loved her character in the film. But let's also talk about some of the new characters in the film, especially, of course, Jenna Ortega playing Astrid Deeds, Lydia Deeds' daughter. I think Jenna Ortega once again does an excellent performance in the film. I always love Jenna Ortega as an actress. I think every movie she does, she gets better and better. And of course, Wednesday is her most iconic property that she has done. This movie, what I like is that she doesn't play Wednesday in the film that everyone thought she is. She actually has emotion in the film. She actually has an arc, and you completely understand Astrid's arc in the film. And Jenna Ortega once again does a great job in this film and has a really good chemistry with Winona Ryder in the film. This is a pretty good mother and daughter type movie because their chemistry is really well done in the film, and Jenna Ortega once again does an excellent performance here. Also, Willem Dafoe is awesome in the film. He's not in the film all that much, but the scenes he is in as well is really good in the film, and he's actually more hilarious than I thought he was going to be. Damn, what is with Willem Dafoe, man? He's been in so many movies this year, and this is not his last film. He's going to be in Nosferatu at the end of this year. Man, Willem Dafoe, you're getting much more shit, and I appreciate that because he's just that great of an actor. But what really stands out for Beetlejuice Beetlejuice is absolutely the look of this movie. This movie looks like old school Tim Burton. Gothic look. I love the practical effects in this movie. It just still works. It still looks fantastic in this film, especially in IMAX. See this film on the biggest screen possible because this film looks beautiful. When you see the afterlife scenes, where you see those giant sandworms with practical effects and miniature houses once again, it looks fantastic on the big screen. It's like once again that Tim Burton is starting to go back to his prime again, making these old school films that he has done. Because I love old school Tim Burton. I love the practical effects that he used to do. I love the miniature houses that he used to do. And this movie just brings that back. And it looks like everyone has had a good time making this movie. Everyone looks like they had a lot of fun making this film because, yes, overall, the film is fun. It still has the fun that we know and love from the first Beetlejuice movie. This movie's hilarious. It had some creepy moments. It had some wacky moments too. And there are a lot of moments in the film where I'm like, that is so Tim Burton. That is so old school Tim Burton, and I really do appreciate that. Throughout the most part, I had a fun time with Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. But this film does have some issues. This is not a perfect film, even though I did have a fun time with this movie. This film does have a lot of issues that kind of step the film down a little bit. Let's talk about some of the other new characters in the film. Let's talk about Monica Bellucci in the film, who plays the main villain of this film. I didn't like her in this film. She is fine in this film, and there's nothing wrong with the acting from her character in the film. It's just her arc in this film. It is explained, but not explained too much. She has a relationship with Beetlejuice in the film that's actually quite interesting, but it doesn't bring back too much of it. She just plays a pretty generic villain, and she's not in the film all that much, which also is a bummer. But the character that I actually really didn't like in this film is Justin Theroux. He plays basically the love interest sort of Lydia in the film, and I just find his character completely annoying in this film. He's just a complete unlikable character in this film. Every line he talks in the film, I just want him to go away, and I'm disappointed. I love Justin Theroux as an actor, but I just find his character really freaking annoying in this film. But I think one of my biggest issues with Beetlejuice Beetlejuice is that this film is extremely convoluted. There is a lot of plots in this film, a lot of things happening in this film, and there are some plot aspects that I did not like too much of this film. There is one plot that Jenna Ortega goes through in the film that I honestly, it just didn't go nowhere. It's one of those plots that could have been very interesting, and they have a lot of that in this film, and it just completely took that away, and I'm like, oh no, I'm interested to see where that goes, but no, it just doesn't bring back to it. And also, I would say that this film has pretty slow pacing to get to the main plot of the film. The first Beetlejuice just starts off right away. It's not just because there's not much Beetlejuice, just the plot in general with Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis as ghosts. That's a fun plot in general, and the film just has great pacing. This film, it takes a long time to get going for me. There are times with a film where I'm just like, okay, this film is a little bit too slow to get to the main part of this movie. But I gotta say, guys, this is absolutely one of the better Tim Burton films that he has done. He is trying to go back to his old roots once again, and for the most part, I had a fun time with Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. It's not perfect, it's definitely not as good as the first one, but it's not bad either. This film is still a pretty fun and enjoyable legacy sequel. If you're fans of the original Beetlejuice, you're definitely going to have fun time with the movie. Michael Keaton, once again, reprising his role 30 years later, he has still got as Beetlejuice. He is so much fun in the film. Winona, Ryder, Catherine O'Hara is great. Jenna, Ortega is good. The other characters in the film, they're not as great as I wanted to be because they're great actors and they're just completely wasted in the film, except Willem Dafoe. The practical effects are still great. The scares of the film is a lot of fun. There are some pretty fun and funny moments in the film. The biggest problem I have with the film, though, is that this film is very convoluted with so many plots that didn't go anywhere. And there are some characters that completely annoy me in this film. And also, the film is a bit slow to get to where it's going. But overall, guys, if you're huge Beetlejuice fans, you're definitely going to enjoy this movie. I had a fun time with Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, so I gotta say, for Beetlejuice Beetlejuice, definitely go see this film at a matinee price. So guys, that is my review for Beetlejuice Beetlejuice. Let me know what you think of this film in the comments below. And let me know what is your favorite Tim Burton film of all time. Let me know that also in the comments below. Make sure you guys follow me on social media links down below. Keep contact with me and make sure you guys subscribe to my channel for my latest movie reviews and other movie related content. Thank you guys so much for watching and have a nice day.